Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be making some fun pants. You guys have requested for me to make a video on how I make my fun pants, and today is finally the day I'm gonna teach you. But we're gonna add a little twist on it because I saw Kylie Jenner wear this outfit and I loved her pants and I love the top too. So we're just gonna make the whole outfit. We're gonna make a fun outfit today. And also Kendall Jenner wore this outfit too. She wore it in green. So yeah, I don't know why I needed to add that, but they both were it, so we're gonna make a Jenner outfit today. The outfit is originally from Sax Potts, and I absolutely love that brand. It is so funky, but they're just a little pricey, but if you can afford it, it's worth it. But I can't, so I went to the fabric store and bought a similar fabric, and I'm just gonna make the whole fabric from scratch. Or the whole outfit. Did I say fabric? The whole outfit from scratch. But as for the pattern, I'm gonna be making a pattern from a pair of pants that I already own. And then for the top, I have a link down below for a free pattern to make the top. But I think that's it for my intro. So let's get into the tutorial. So for my patterns, I have everything all done here, but for the top, you can just print it out at home and you can just tape all the pieces together. You just print it out on letter size paper, cut it out, and you tape it together. And then for the pants, because you're making it from your own pair of pants, you're gonna need a decent size piece of paper, and probably no one really has paper that's like this big that can fit your pants on it. So you're gonna want to tape together a whole bunch of paper. I actually have this huge roll of paper that I use to make my patterns on, but if you don't, just tape a whole bunch of pieces of papers together, or you can go out and you can buy a huge roll of paper like this. So to make the pants, you're gonna want to find a pair of pants at home that you absolutely love. So I'm using this pair of pants to make my pattern from. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold the pants inside out like so, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take one of the legs and I'm gonna tuck it in to the other leg. So you have your pants looking like this, so it's pretty much just one leg here, and then once you have this, we can go ahead and trace it and make our pattern. So now we're gonna take the pair of pants and we're gonna lay it down on the paper. It doesn't matter which side, we're gonna do both sides. So lay either the front or the back first. I am doing the back first, so the front of the pants is on the bottom and the back is on the top. So I just put it down, I made sure it was really flat, and I'm just tracing it. I'm just putting dashes around, just lightly tracing it because I'm gonna go over with my pencil again and make all the lines nice and smooth and just fix any errors there, just so it's a nice pattern. Then after that, I flipped it over and I'm gonna be doing the front of the pants. So the front of the pant is on the top and the bottom is the back of the pants. You can see I'm tucking in some of the excess fabric from the back of the pattern. So I'm just tucking that in because I'm only wanting to trace the top of the pant, like the top of the pant here. So again, I'm just doing dashes, tracing it along, tracing the whole pair of pants, and then I'm taking it off and just making it pretty, taking my rulers and making it super pretty. And it's a-okay if you don't have these fancy rulers. I have them, but you don't need them. They're very, very helpful, but a flat ruler is totally fine too. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm just taking off the waistband just because I traced around the waistband. So I'm taking about an inch off the top just because I'm gonna be adding a waistband. So I don't really need that in the pattern. So next, I just put my pattern on my fabric there, and then I just put some candles and plants on it just because I don't actually have the actual weights to put on your patterns, and I was lazy, I didn't want to pin it down, so candles work. So I put that down and I'm just tracing around, but I'm adding about a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, whatever you like, seam allowance, just because there's no seam allowance in this original pattern. So I'm just tracing around it and I'm adding like a 1/4 inch. This is how I like to cut out my patterns. I'm not saying it's the right way to do it, but this is how I like to do it. And then I'm also adding a few inches at the bottom of the pair of pants just because I'm just gonna give a little bit extra for seam allowance and just in case I wanted it a bit longer. So I did that, added a little bit at the bottom and a 1/4 inch all the way around the pair of pants, traced it, and now I'm cutting it. Also, if there's like any fashion students watching this video, don't come at me in the comments for doing this wrong. I just like doing it this way, and it's just the way I like doing it. Anyways, for the waistband, I just measured it on the fold 1.5 inches up, and then my waist plus 1 inch wide, and that's how I got my waistband. So here I'm just cutting out a pattern I already had and I'm just manipulating it so it works for this pattern, but there's a whole bunch of free patterns online for a basic long sleeve. I'll link some down below, you can try them out, but a basic long sleeve is super easy to make, especially with stretch fabric. Okay, hopefully that's the last outfit change, but anyways, we're gonna move on to the pants now. We're gonna sew the pants first. So what I am doing now is I'm grabbing one piece from the front, one piece from the back, and you're gonna make sure they line up so they have right sides together here, and they line up in the crotch here because we're gonna sew the crotch seam or the inseam inside your legs. I don't know what you wanna call it, but the seam that leads up to your crotch. We're gonna sew that together first. So you're gonna do that on both legs, and we're just gonna pin this first. So here I'm just showing you what I just explained, where I'm putting one front leg to one back leg. They will match up. You want the right sides together, and then once you find the two pieces that match up together, you're gonna pin the inside seam, and then you're gonna take it to the sewing machine and you're gonna do a straight stitch all the way down. I'm just doing a 1/4 seam allowance straight stitch, but whatever you added when you cut out your pattern, and then this is what it should look like. But next, I'm just being extra fancy and using my serger. You don't have to, it's a stretchy fabric, it's not gonna fray, but I'm just being fancy and being extra and using my serger. And then after that, I'm just pressing my seams because you need to press your seams after you sew. It will look very professional if you do and look very nice. And then after that, what I'm doing is I'm putting both pair of pants together, and you line them up front leg to front leg, back leg to back leg, and it should look like this. And then you go ahead and you pin the whole crotch seam. The crotch seam is what I'm pinning right now. And then once you pin the whole crotch seam, you're gonna do one straight stitch where I just pointed. And now I'm just doing another straight stitch, 1/4. As always, for this whole thing, I'm just doing a 1/4 seam allowance. And I'm on my new sewing machine. If you haven't noticed, this is my new sewing machine, and I'm really obsessed with it. It's a semi-industrial one, so it is nice. Like, man, this sews through anything, this thing. But that's enough about my sewing machine. Now onto the serger, where I'm finishing the seam once again, just because I feel like it, but you don't have to. You don't have to finish the seam. It's stretchy fabric. It's not gonna fray. Okay, so I pressed my crotch seam, and now we're gonna flip it so they look like pants. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop this side and open this side up, and then you're gonna go ahead and grab this piece. So you have the whole crotch line here, and you're gonna pull it up, and you're gonna match it up with the other crotch seam, and now it looks like we have some inside pants, or inside out pants. There we go. So now that we have our inside out pants, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pin all the way down the leg on both sides, and then we're getting close to being done. We're getting close to being done. So usually I get pretty lazy and don't really pin my garments when I sew, but because I'm trying to show good habits, I'm gonna clip the side. Otherwise, like most of the time when I'm sewing, I would just put it in here and just start sewing, but no, we're not gonna do that today, because sometimes, I gotta admit, I do mess up sometimes when I do that, and when I take the extra minute and just pin my clothes or pin my fabric, it usually turns out a lot better. Also, if you're curious about these pins, I'm not using actually like the needle pin, I'm just using these clips, I guess you'd call them. I just got them off Amazon. They were cheap. You got like 100 of them in here, and they are just way faster than actually using the pins. I don't know, I find they're way faster, and plus they can be used on delicate fabric where you don't want to put a hole in, say leather, or just like suede, or just fabric you can't put a hole through. So they're very handy. I use these all the time. So I'm just doing a straight stitch here, but what I really want to show you is this. And yes, my machine just cut the thread and lifted the foot all at once, just with a button. It's so magical. Look at these pants. Look at these pants. They are everything I dreamed about. Like, look at these. These are amazing. I just had to try them on because I wanted to see how they fit before I went any further, and they fit good. They fit good. So the next thing I'm gonna do, which is optional for you guys, is I'm gonna sew like a little, I don't know what it's called. This, you can see it in the photo, this is what I'm trying to do, the little seam down the front here and then down the back. So that's what I'm trying to do next. So I'm gonna iron it, and then I'm gonna go to the sewing machine And then finally, I'll be able to finish the pants. So the first thing I did was I pinned my two side seams together, so there was a fold at the front and the back of the legs. Once I had the side seams pinned together, I went ahead and kept pinning the fabric together until I got kind of a nice line at the front and the back. And then I took my iron and tried to make that line a little bit more crisp, took some more pins to make it, easy so I could sew it and nothing moved. And then once I had the whole fabric for both legs pinned, I went sewing. And because I took so much effort and care into preparing for this moment, it went really well. And then when I was sewing this, I actually pulled on the fabric just a tad to give it a little bit of stretch in the seam, just to give it a little bit more stretchiness, because the fabric stretches so much, I did not want the seam to break in the future. So I'm done the top stitch now. It looks really, really good. I think it looks so much better just by adding that little bit. So I'm very happy with it, but there was a little bit of a hiccup. When I was doing my first leg, I was actually getting some skipping in my stitches. So if you don't know what that is, it pretty much just looks like a big stitch in the middle of your stitches. So it's kind of annoying. I was really frustrated because I was like, why is this happening? And then I realized I was using the wrong needle, so that was causing the skipping in my stitches. So I switched it to a size 11 needle, and it seemed to fix it. So if you're having problems with your stitches skipping on this type of spandex fabric, change it to 11 or a 14, I believe. So now we're moving on to the waistband. So the first thing I did was I took my waistband, put the right sides together, and finished the seam at the end, so I had a nice circle. The waistband actually looked like a circle. Next thing I did was I put the waistband inside the pair of pants, but I folded it first so the right sides were facing outwards, and then I put the waistband in the pair of pants, and I have the seams all facing upwards, and I'm just clipping the seam together so it looks like that. So I just sewed my waistband to my pair of pants, and I realized I forgot to press record when I did that. So I didn't show you how to do that, but I'm gonna show you again because I tried the pair of pants on and they're actually too high-waisted, which I didn't think that was even possible. Like, they're pretty high up there. They're like mid-stomach. So I wanna take it down a bit, probably like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So I'm actually just gonna re-sew this with my serger, and my serger will just cut off some of this. So I'm gonna go and follow this once again all the way around, about maybe 1/2 inch, maybe 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, and then that should put it at like the right, waist, so it actually falls on my waist, this waistband, and not like my boobs. So I'm using a serger here to attach the waistband, but if you don't have a serger, use a zigzag stitch, because if you use a straight stitch and you try to stretch it when you put on your pants, it will probably snap all the threads. So recommend either using a serger for this part or your zigzag setting on your sewing machine. So here are the pants on with the waistband. The waistband is so much better because before I tried them on, it was like up here. Like, it legit was like a few inches from like my boobs, and I was like, this is way too high. So now it sits just like above, just above my belly button, which I think is like perfect, like my natural waistline there. So they are almost done, and now I just need to hem them, and they look a little bit rough on the bottom, but it's okay. That's what hemming's for. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to hem them. So for the hemming of the pants, I'm gonna do like a little hack job or a little shortcut for this because I'm kind of lazy right now. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, it's at the length that I want. So I'm gonna take this to my serger. I'm gonna do a serge stitch all the way around. Wow, you can tell I am not very good with my terminology, but I'm gonna use my serger all the way around this, and then I'm gonna fold it over once and then just do a straight stitch, and then it'll be hemmed. I wish I had orange serger thread. I really should get that because this would have looked a lot nicer if I had orange thread for my serger. So I didn't really need to serge this. Usually you do that when you don't want it to fray, but this is not gonna fray this fabric, so I didn't need to, but I'm just being extra with this project. So I used my serger, and then after I got that seam, I folded it over inside and just a straight stitch, and that's how I finished the ends for these pair of pants. So now we're moving on to the top, which is super, super easy, and we're pinning the front and the back together, right sides together, and we're just pinning the shoulders together because that's what we're gonna sew first. We're gonna sew both shoulders together. So I'm going to the sewing machine, doing a straight stitch on here, doing both of them, and then once I was done that, I'm moving on to the collar or your neck band. Is it neck band or neck? waistband, what? Anyways, we're doing the exact same thing we did for our waistband, where I'm sewing it together so you get a circle, and then I'm taking it and I'm pinning it to the top of your neck hole. And yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just making another waistband for your neck. And then once you have that all pinned, it's all the nice length, everything looks good, I'm going to my serger and sewing that all the way around, because just like, you know, the waistband, you don't want to use a straight stitch, because if you try to put that over your head, it might snap the thread, and that's not good. So either use your serger or the zigzag setting for this step. So now we're moving on to the arms. So put your fabric down like so, and you can start pinning your arms together with the body. Make sure you put right sides together, and you pin the two sides first and the top of it, and then start pinning in between the pins so everything is evenly spaced out. Once you have it pinned, you're gonna go into your sewing machine, do another straight stitch all the way around. Go super slow, because this part is a little bit tricky just because it's like an awkward angle you're sewing at. Then once you're done sewing both arms, you're gonna be pinning both the arms together and the side of the body, and you're gonna do one full straight stitch. This is like the last part. It's really easy, and it's a little confusing, but it's easy. Just pin your arm together and then pin the side of the body together, all right sides together. And if you held it out long, it's just like one big long stitch you're gonna be doing. Does this make sense, or are you just watching the screen and just kind of tuning me out as I'm like talking to you right now? Who knows? But either way, as long as you're getting the concept of how I'm doing this, it doesn't really matter. And now we're finally stitching the top together. So you're gonna start at the arm, stitch all the way down the arm, and then keep going past the armpit, you know, there, and then keep going down the whole top, and then that's gonna put the whole top together and put it all together. And then once you're done that, we're gonna move on to hemming it, which hem it the way that you want. I didn't really hem it very well here, just because I did the same thing as I did for the bottom of the pair of pants, but I probably would just do like a twin needle stitch or something different, so you have a little bit, or a zigzag stitch, something like that, so you have a little bit of stretch. I probably would recommend zigzag stitch here, but I did a straight stitch, and I'm probably gonna have to redo it because it's a little tight. It's a little tight, and it's not as stretchy as I want it to be. So do a zigzag stitch. So I sent my sister a picture of the whole outfit, and she told me I looked like a superhero. And I don't know if to take that as a compliment, as in like, you look awesome, or to take it not as a compliment, as in like, I look like I'm dressed up for Halloween. I don't really know, but you guys can make your own judgments, but please be nice. Here is the full outfit. Ta-da! I honestly really love it. I honestly really love it, but I don't know that I love it all together. It's a little much together. It's honestly an awesome outfit, but it's just a little out there to, you know, wear to like the grocery store, because I'm not really going anywhere else. So if I was going to like a New Year's party, this would be a really cool outfit to wear, or any type of party, I don't really know. But this is definitely for a special occasion, and I don't think I'm just gonna wear this to the grocery store. I might just wear the top to the grocery store, or the bottoms, but I don't think I'm gonna wear both. I don't think so. I think it's cool. I honestly think it's cool. Well, anyways, that is it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed this sewing tutorial and how to create this very out there sack spots outfit. I love it, so, which I've already said a billion times. But if you do have any ideas for me, what I should create next, whether it's an outfit, a shirt, a pair of pants, whatever, if you have an idea what I should create next, leave it down in the comments below, and maybe I will make it in one of my upcoming tutorials. But other than that, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos, and yeah, that's it. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.